Hey there, everyone. My name is John, and I've got a story that might give you the chills. Now, I'm no writer or anything, just a regular guy, but I feel like I have to share this. So bear with me, okay? I've always loved Disneyland. It's that place where magic comes to life, you know? Every corner you turn, there's a new adventure waiting. The place is alive with the laughter of kids, and the air is filled with that sweet smell of cotton candy and popcorn. It's like stepping into a different world, a world where everything is happy and nothing can go wrong. I used to go there a lot. I'd wander around the park, ride on the Pirates of the Caribbean, cheer on the parades, and get my picture taken with Mickey and Minnie. It was my happy place, a place where I could forget about the world for a while and just be a kid again. This one day it was just like any other. The sun was shining, the park was bustling with people, and there was that familiar excitement in the air. I grabbed a hot dog from a cart and found a spot to sit and watch the world go by. Kids were running around, their faces painted with joy as they chased after their favorite characters. Parents were following behind, their hands full of balloons and stuffed animals won from the games. But as the day went on, I started to feel off. I couldn't put my finger on it, but something was different. The laughter didn't sound as cheerful, the characters didn't seem as friendly, and even the sunshine felt a little colder. I shook it off, thinking maybe I was just tired or something. But this visit was different. I was about to experience something that would turn my love for Disneyland into a nightmare. It was nearing dusk, and I decided to take one last ride on the Haunted Mansion. The mansion, with its towering structure and ominous presence, always had a peculiar way of making the hair on the back of your neck stand on end. The gloomy atmosphere and eerie sounds that filled the air were just enough to make your heart pound a little harder. As I climbed aboard the creaking cart, I felt the cold draft that seemed to seep out of the mansion's very walls. The cart jolted forward, and I was plunged into a world of ghostly apparitions and chilling whispers. The grim, spectral figures seemed almost too real, their mournful cries echoing through the dark, winding corridors. The air was thick with an icy dread that seemed to cling to every inch of the mansion, but amidst the typical ghostly encounters, something was different this time. As I rounded a dimly lit corner, I noticed a Disney character standing in the shadows. It was Goofy, but something about him felt off. His usual jovial demeanor was replaced with a hollow stare, his eyes devoid of their typical mirth. He stood still, his body rigid, as if he was part of the mansion's haunted decor. His costume looked worn, almost faded, a stark contrast to the usual vibrant characters parading around Disneyland. I couldn't shake off the feeling of unease that washed over me. I wanted to call out, ask if he was okay, but the words seemed to stick in my throat. As the cart trundled past him, he never moved, his gaze never wavering from its fixed point in the distance. It was strange, but I shrugged it off. I told myself it was just part of the ride, a new addition perhaps. But something deep down told me otherwise. I wanted to believe it was all just a part of the Disneyland magic, but I couldn't shake off the unsettling feeling. Little did I know I was in for a horrific night. As the park was closing, I realized I had lost my wallet. I knew I had it with me in the Haunted Mansion. It's funny, you know. One moment you're holding on to something, the next it's gone, just like that. With the park about to shut down for the night, I decided to retrace my steps. The once bustling Disneyland was now a ghost town, eerily silent. You'd think a place as magical as Disneyland wouldn't be so creepy after hours, but let me tell you, it was downright chilling. The colorful decorations seemed to lose their warmth, the towering structures casting long, ominous shadows. I walked through the empty streets, the sound of my own footsteps echoing in the silence. It felt as if I was being watched. I tried to shake off the feeling, telling myself it was just my mind playing tricks on me, but the sense of unease lingered, growing stronger with each passing minute. My journey led me back to the Haunted Mansion. The mansion, with its eerie green glow and Gothic architecture, seemed more sinister now. It was as if the mansion was alive, watching me, its dark windows like empty eyes. Stepping inside, I was met with an uncanny silence. It was as if the mansion was holding its breath, waiting for something. I found my wallet lying on the floor near the exit. It felt odd, like it was deliberately placed there, but I was glad to have it back. As I turned to leave, I felt a cold shiver run down my spine. It was then I saw it, a figure in the corner of my eye, disappearing into the darkness. I spun around, but there was nothing, just the empty mansion and the chilling silence. So there I was, standing alone in the haunted mansion, in the dead of the night, with nothing but a lost wallet and a feeling of unease that wouldn't go away. That's when I saw it, a figure in the corner of my eye, disappearing into the darkness. I felt a shiver down my spine, and I knew something wasn't right. The atmosphere had shifted, the air heavier, the silence deafening. A chill crept up my arms and my heart pounded like a drum against my chest. What was once a place of joy and laughter had transformed into a realm of fear and uncertainty. I could feel a presence, something ominous lurking in the shadows. It was like I was being watched, stalked by an unseen predator. I could sense its eyes on me, its gaze colder than the chill of the wind. Every step I took was echoed by a soft rustling behind me, like a whisper in the wind. It was a feeling I can't quite put into words. It was like being hunted, but by something I couldn't see or touch. The once vibrant sounds of Disneyland had faded into a distant memory, replaced by an eerie silence that was occasionally broken by strange noises. They were faint, like a distant echo, but they were there. The sound of a creaking door, a soft thud, a distant whisper. Each one sent a fresh wave of chills down my spine and added to the growing sense of dread that was knotting my stomach. The whispers, they were the worst. They seemed to follow me, growing louder and more insistent the more I tried to ignore them. They were like cold breath against my ear, whispering words I couldn't understand but could feel. It was as if they were trying to tell me something, warn me about something, or maybe they were just trying to drive me mad. And then there was the figure. I never really saw it, but I could feel it all around me. It was like a shadow, always just out of sight, but always there. It was as if it was everywhere, always watching, always waiting. The fear of it was paralyzing, the uncertainty of it was maddening. I ran, but the whispers grew louder, the air colder, and the figure seemed to be everywhere. The more I ran, the more I realized I was not running from it, I was running into it. I somehow managed to escape, but I was left with more questions than answers. Breathing heavily, heart pounding like a drum in my chest, I emerged from the horror house, the cheerful atmosphere of Disneyland now seeming like an eerie facade. The laughter and joy around me felt out of place, a stark contrast to the terror I had just faced. Was it all just a figment of my imagination? Or was there something lurking in the shadows of the happiest place on earth? I kept turning the events over in my head, trying to make sense of it, but the more I thought about it, the less it made sense. The icy chills, the whispers in the dark, the feeling of being watched. Could it all have been in my mind? But the fear was real, the terror was real. It was a fear that clung to me, refusing to let go, even as I stepped into the sunlight. I couldn't shake off the feeling that Disneyland held more secrets than it seemed. Secrets that were hidden away behind the bright lights and the cheerful music. Secrets that were meant to stay hidden. I found myself questioning everything. Was it just a one-off incident? Or were there more people like me, people who had encountered the unexplainable? And then there was the question that haunted me the most. Why me? Why was I the one to experience this terror? Was it just a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time? Or was there something more to it? The experience had left me rattled, terrified, and confused. But it also left me curious. Curious about the secrets that Disneyland might be hiding. Curious about what could be lurking in the shadows of the happiest place on earth. I thought I was safe, but then I found a note in my wallet. "See you soon, John."